Coming to you live from the willitforge studios in a blacked out apartment hidden somewhere in Michigan. I am willitforge, and this is the Watching Paint Dry show. We recently finished the dragon. Fun. And if it wasn't for the even odd schedule, we'd be looking at a game stream today. But I got the schedule. I'm sticking to it. It's kind of like Scraplight's format thing. We're starting a new art project today. And kind of lucky, I did find the porcelain tiles that I had planned for this. One of those, you get them, you start it, you start to prep, and then you're like, wait a minute, where did I put that? I found some other flooring material and stuff. We're going to go through possibly numerous flooring and walling materials in this season. But what I ran into is I tried to do a base coat on some of the other ones in just black spray paint, and I don't know if it's because of the flooring material or the can is near the end. Those aren't coming, they're not drying as fast, so we're going to start with the plain white tile. And yes, Kyler, we are live. Always a good thing. I do need to beg your indulgence for just a moment, because otherwise I am going to forget to shill. I did my impromptu stream and I set up all the shills and I didn't send any of them. Well, this time I don't have them set up, but I am remembering, so I can do a real quick copy and paste and drop those in the different places. Just real quickly, and that is all going out. 3, 2, 1. There we go. All the shills out. I should automate that process sometime, but yeah. Work. So much work to do something like that. Hello, Swirl and Lurkers. I see you, Lurkers, there. As it goes, I see you after school. I just realized I don't... Well, I got enough cups of water to start with. Got some beer, got some coffee. I'll have some, well, to me, semi-humorous stories today, too, as well as the music. You can tell, you can decide if you find them humorous or if I'm just a boring lug. Either way, you're here, I'm here. Let's get some art going. Say, first drink since New Year's. My New Year's tradition is a bottle of champagne, which even though I drink it by myself, as far as it doesn't get shared out, it just doesn't do that much to me. But I enjoy the flavor and all of that fun stuff, so make of it what you will, right? Recycling my trays that I've used for paints. Nope, not a potty break, Data. We are just starting the stream, so you caught us at the beginning, except for possibly missing the very intro. And we are working on this same kind of tiles that we used for the I can talk and think at the same time. I swear I can do it. Same kind of tiles we used for the Christmas themed coasters, but I had promised that I was going to do some freehand space and planet based ones, and I do try very hard to keep my promises. It's inspired twofold. One, you see occasionally those people that do the amazing art using just spray paint and everything. And I've done a, I don't really have an up or down on this one, but I've done this just using watercolor on paper. The tile, well, up until today, I've had no trouble finding 4 to 4 1/4 tile. My cheat today was to pick up a few flooring samples because I couldn't find these tiles, and then 2 minutes before the show, I find the tiles. 2-3 minutes. Lots of fun. I've got to try the local Habitat for Humanity Restore 2. I'll have to come up with, say, if they've stopped making these as a rule in this size, I'm going to have to come up with some fun alternatives. One fun alternative I have to come up with is a fun alternative to my current method of storing paints. Because I got these bottles of acrylic paints, just like just like this, and you can find them at art stores, you can find them at Walmart and all of that. And I've got a variety. I've got doubles of some colors, and they're just all tossed into a grocery bag right now. Yeah, 4 1/8 real popular in the 80s. Yeah, they were. Especially like bathroom wall tile. Sometimes if you are tiling an island or a backsplash and that. And they might be pushing the discontinuance because they are just so insanely cheap. I mean, they've gone, say, I used to get them for like 13 or 17 cents a tile, and they're down to like 6 to 8 cents a tile. So between the popularity and the say, where's the drying paint? We'll get to the drying paint shortly, Kyle. Starting a new project today. So getting to the if I keep up with materials like this, I might have to come up with and find some good alternatives to the classic tile. And I would lose my head if it wasn't attached. Yeah, so I keep these paints in a plastic grocery bag, all the bottles together, and I've got plans, it's like the designs and everything, to make various racks for them for storage and everything. I get a few different directions I might go with that, and it's just a matter of gotta sit down, figure it out, and do it. Do the Nike thing, just do it. Oh, you're eating at the moment? I got to, that's where one of my tales of woe comes from. Because I was getting into the trying to get ready for things, and finally got a chance to have a good meal. Well, to me, good meal. I had Thursday, I had to work, and on my lunch break, I had to run to Home Depot to pick up some more spray paint for a different project that I was working on. And the problem that I had was a 30-minute lunch break. Figured, well, there's a Wendy's right there. I'm going to have some Wendy's. Got to the drive-thru and I started thinking, ooh, bacon jalapeno cheeseburger. I am definitely going to enjoy that. So I sit there and I'm waiting, and I burn off nearly 2/3 of my lunch break waiting in line at Wendy's, and I'm still the third car back from the order. And there weren't that many cars to begin with. I'll tell you, with the stuff that's been going on, fast food places have been getting away with slower and slower service, the likes of which a year ago would have had them having issues with corporate. It's taking you this long to provide service from start to finish. Oh, they would get in big trouble. But now it's almost like it's expected. And so I had to cut out without ordering any food. Get back to my apartment. Now the problems are twofold. One, I haven't eaten, and two, now my heart is set on a bacon jalapeno cheddar or a bacon jalapeno cheeseburger from Wendy's. Not the healthiest for me, but as an occasional splurge, there's no problem with it. So I haven't eaten, and my heart is set on this cheeseburger. I do have food in my apartment that even at the end of my lunch break, I could throw in the microwave, get up real quickly to grab once the cooking is done, and that stuff. So just the hungry part's not a big deal. But my heart is set. Well, so he spent 30 minutes in the drive-thru. Yeah, I would have spent close to 30 minutes in the drive-thru had it actually gotten that far. I didn't even get to order. Well, it's spending money that I shouldn't, hardly have and all that fun stuff. But I was set on it, so I pulled up the Postmates app while I can return to work. Because I can hold out a little bit longer for food, and my heart and now stomach are set on beef patties, fresh, never frozen, with bacon, cheese, jalapenos, chipotle mayo, and the works. I'm gonna get it. I decided, why not? Go big or go home. Order a triple. I know it's going to take some while to get to me. That's fine. It says the latest it'll arrive is 45, 50 minutes later, something like that. Okay, I can do this. I'm going to have my bacon jalapeno cheeseburger, and we're going to get the extra grease. It's going to be a triple. And I waited out, and the delivery driver comes in, and he's so nice. Collect it. Everything is good. Now, I do the math. There is then the question of, I got a meal, fries first, burger first. Well, of the two, the quality in the fries degrades faster the longer it stays from the heat. So, okay, fries first. Enjoy them. I'm not supposed to. Who cares? And then I'm ready for the glorious reveal. Sandwich time. I pull it out. I start to open it. I am dying for that grilled beef patty and cheese and jalapeno and bacon and chipotle mayo. And there's not three beef patties. There's not 2 beef patties. There's not any beef patties, as they gave me the bacon jalapeno chicken sandwich. I just about died. I know, first world problems. I still just about died. I rectified that today, as I had some errands to run, including dropping off my nephew's Christmas gift to him, which is a picture that will make a showing on the stream. Well, at least on the channel somewhere. It took me around where I had the ability to go past a few Wendy's and said, I am stopping and I am ordering my bacon jalapeno cheeseburger from Wendy's. And I got it 2 days late. Always exchange the fries for the baked potato. Either one is not the best for me as a diabetic. I enjoy fries more than a baked potato in general. And as long as the amount of potato starch I'm getting is the same or less, the fries are in their own way better for me. Oh, and Data Wasteland, you do have something there that is something I'm planning on doing on the channel, sort of. Only it's not something I'm planning on doing like scratch-offs. I have the idea, and I've had the idea for a while, to take some tile or something like that, layer it in various colors of spray paint with a black top coat, and throw it in the laser with a gradient map. The reason for that is I can tell the laser to process a gradient map as varying powers, capped out at something that's not going to go all the way through the paint or just barely expose the white, one of the two. And so you end up with, if you've seen the 3D grayscales, you have the potential for the darker it is, the deeper it goes in, and that. Justin, the spray paints, I don't fuss too much about the spray paints. I generally deal with Rust-Oleum. I don't know. As far as that, I'd probably be better off with like an acrylic spray color for going in the laser. I don't throw actual spray paint in the laser too often. So unless it's like a real high concentration of vinyl in it, it's okay as an occasional the whole not put too much of a bad thing in there, but it's not like it's the worst of the worst things to put in. And since we're going for space pictures here, starting off with a couple layers of black to darken the tiles nicely. And since we do, and I'm actually, for the base color and everything, I'm leaving more of them on the screen so you can get the channel's namesake of watching some of the paint dry. And of course, we'll actually get to picture elements today too, because this goes on pretty quickly, and it the acrylic, it dries fairly fast even on the tile. It doesn't bond to the tile surface real well. This would a damp rag would just wipe these clean pretty fast. But as far as throwing a base coat on, that is then accented with colors and stuff, it works really well. Let's say forget a damp rag, I could probably even the parts that are dry with a little bit of elbow grease and just a straight finger, I could probably take and clear that off, and you get the spots that aren't so dry yet. What is it, Wazowski? I gave you nip. As Kyler has said, in my defense, a cat's gonna cat. Well, this is true, and I've got 2 of them. And both of them are pretty good at catting. Trying not to make these too thick because I got to double coat it anyway. You gotta be careful because you occasionally get spots where it's starting to dry already on the tray, and having to make sure that those don't make it on the tile to mess up the texture and finish. Not that I'm going for a super smooth finish on these. These are going to have some character. And no matter what I do, you end up with cat hairs around it. This. And the reminder that even acrylic paints don't last forever, as this one's starting to degrade, but I got lots of black, so. Because I'm planning on doing a significant series. I've got 8 of these in this size porcelain. I've got some samples from other flooring samples, like a composite or laminate that I'm going to be doing some painting on. A few other things. So I am going to welcome picture suggestions and ideas, because it may surprise you. I'm not real good at pulling pictures out of my pulling pictures out of my mind. I'm not real good at visualizing them. And there, success. We have 8 tiles depicting close-ups of black cats in the dark. I'm kid, of course. I kid. We're going to be taking these and pushing them further and further. Once the black has got thick enough so the white's not showing through on the top, we'll have the addition of significant color too. But now for space reasons, what I got to do is I got to take off the tiles that are the most wet and leave tiles that are the most dry. Start working on round 2. Try an acrylic Bob Ross painting. Wow. I would definitely have to pull a Bob Ross picture up, or Bob Ross video or 2 or 3 or 5 up and practice with that. Definitely. I'm more comfortable with the notion that I might be able to do it. Bob Ross was adamant that, even in his earliest videos, is adamant that it's, time and practice and anybody can do it. I spent more than 35 years knocking my artistic abilities. It's a little tricky to come back and go the other way. Hello, Satsu, over on the D Live. Right now, we're truly in the watching paint dry section of it, as I'm putting a black base coat on these tiles to work as the background for this. It's standard white porcelain tile, bathroom walls the world over. But they are going to be a series of coasters, or 2 sets of 4 coasters, or 8 sets of 2 coasters, something along those lines, of various space themes. This is actually my first play with kind of a space style picture in the and this was just watercolors. Well, I've got the idea to do with acrylics and throw in some acrylic metallics and a gloss coat on it, and try and take that another direction. Well, that would be 16 sets of 1 coaster Data Wasteland, and I figure if I was doing coaster sets, I'd probably go with pairs at the minimum. I'm locked here. Say I'm locked here with 2 cats, and we should still have a set of at least 2 coasters. Yeah, Satsu, this is me. This is actually going freehand. And thank you for the ice cream and the lemon Data Wasteland. Now they're getting a bidding war over there. See who sponsors Potato Clock better. This isn't the first time I've done freehand images on tiles like this on the channel, but it's the first time I'm going as expansive with it. I have got goals and plans. I almost sound like a responsible adult. And like some of the other pictures that I've done in the freehand realm, which isn't very many, but there's a couple, this is getting the layers of color on layers of color, but it's with a more liquidy flowing acrylic paint, not with a thick acrylic or with an oil. And if I get confident enough with doing this, you'll still have the bird's eye view, but I might just do something with nice woodlands or mountain view and happy little trees and everything like that. It does look like 2 coats. And then tile blackface. 2 coats looks like it should be good enough base for what I'm doing. And with 8 tiles, I can give them plenty of time to dry. Satsu's got it. Black tiles are diverse, yo. It's the white tiles that are the racists. Now, that's an idea I might pull into another season 2, Justin. I like that one, actually. The idea of make the tiles go into a bigger picture. And one way that I might be able to do that is with the smaller mosaic tiles. Actually, like, tape them, say, it has to take them off any kind of netting that they're on so I could get them in real close to each other. But I could tape them across the back, paint a single picture on it, and then the separation of that gives you smaller images. If I were doing it real creative, pull the 4 to 5 inch hexagonal tiles and do it so that 4 to 6 of them make a set by themselves, but maybe 10 or 12 gives you an even bigger picture if they're lined up right. And not devoid of creative ideas, is just I've been into knocking my artistic talent or lack thereof for a long time. It does make me wonder now what I'd be able to pull off now is if I hadn't been spending literally decades knocking myself down as not being artistic and stuff like that. So anybody who is pondering playing with art and everything, don't go telling yourself that you can't. I actually, one of my coworkers, 100puzzle.com products puzzle, I'll have to take a look at that. One of my coworkers is an art school graduate and immensely talented, and basically comes back with more than anything else, it's practice. Practice adds the practice adds and builds the skill. $100,000 puzzle. Complete the puzzle for a chance to win up to $100,000. Once you complete the puzzle, take a picture of it. You'll be directed to a page to see what you've won. So the puzzle looks like it's a puzzle of a QR code. Sold out. That would be interesting to try, though. Making a puzzle out of smaller tiles. I have actually done, well, wasn't smaller tiles. It was actually printed photo on a good backer board for a puzzle, and laser cut a puzzle with that. Actually had more than one occasion. Have done that for various pictures and people, mostly gifts, family members. I did that for youngest daughter, who has got a bunny rabbit obsession and got a 500, 600 piece puzzle with just the cutest rabbit picture on it. I am definitely into doing some things with puzzle ideas and things like that. I've got I actually made a couple of puzzles. I think I have like 8 or 10 puzzles with my laser now. A couple of them being the most difficult puzzles I have ever encountered in my life. One of those was a 600 piece puzzle, laser cut. And part of the reason why it is so difficult and challenging is it didn't have a picture on it at all. And part of the reason why it was so challenging is the actual size of the puzzle. It was 600 pieces, but the longest edge was only like 4 or 6 inches. So it's a 600 piece puzzle with each piece was 1/8 of an inch on a side with no picture. That is a puzzle nightmare. Another one that is somewhat of a specialty of mine with the laser is non-interlocking puzzles. Imagine having 2 or 3 rows of popsicle sticks lined up just immediately next to each other. In a couple of rows, and an image laser engraved into them. They're completely non-interlocking. You just have to figure out which ones line up next to each other for the image to be right. And because I'm kind of I'm a little bit of a pioneer in that area, at least in the laser forums. It was something that nobody else had even thought of doing. And my next project with that, the non-interlocking puzzles, is one with different sizes of craft sticks with the same concept as they arrange into a regular shape, which is then the base for engraving the image. And you mix it up. You don't. All you have is the image for cues itself. Nothing is interlocking connected. Jack Gunsky, the USGS topo map of the town for a 3D puzzle out of it does have a certain, it has a certain fun to it, definitely. You gotta toss up on the, would this be better to do with like a regular 3D printer or with a laser? I do have one idea with a laser for that kind of thing. If you've ever, where was I going with that? Trying to get some of the paint off my say off my backer here. in theory, with a 3D printer and some patience, you could design it so that it was actually either the outer form or a interlocking mesh of things. But have you seen the laser cut topo maps where it's multiple layers of wood and or acrylic? Because what you could end up with, going on the notion of a 3D topo map of your town, is one of those layered topo maps with each layer also having multiple pieces to it. There's one thing the laser's really good at, is just cutting a jigsaw. There are even websites and tools for coming up with different patterns. I sort of know a guy that actually he designs his own puzzles. He's been making a lot of money with the laser doing it. He designs his own puzzles that's got a lot of your regular pieces, and then has pieces, because you can do laser cut precision. He'll work in and he'll have a piece shaped like a cat in there, and then one shaped like a dragonfly, and sometimes they're themed. And he sells these puzzles and makes good money doing it. Hello, Johnny Hellcat. We are on the first stage of the new project here, which these are ceramic tiles, which we are taking from being oppressive white racist tiles to a diverse set of black tiles, before the black gets the additional colors to make the black even more diverse based on an individual theme. I'll have to find you, Jack, those. I know I've got lots of folks I'm loosely associated with in the laser world that have done things like that. I'll find you some pictures of those laser cut topos. What you end up with is they're just, each range of elevation is a different layer on the map, and you end up with multiple layers of materials cut and placed to make that, to line up with the actual topo map of the area. Folks in the laser forums have done that. They've done let's say they've done that. They have done like street maps, the basic city maps of historical or special sections of cities with similar themes. So there's just the possibilities are pretty close to endless. Justin, I do think that it would be possible to make some form of Rubik's Cube using paints and the laser. There would be a matter of how to make it so that certain pieces worked the way that they worked. But I would think you should be able to, with a little bit of ingenuity, mimic the general shape of the pieces that gives them their ability to move in conjunction with each other, and then add color to them. Might require, to do it best, it might require doing the kind of interlock, but saying this is a material that doesn't have the same kind of give and flex that the plastic does. So you'd have to put your centerpieces on last, because they truly would be locking the other pieces into the cube. Racist doing tile blackface. And I tell you, these tiles can't win. They're racist, they're diverse, they're blackface, they're not. Well, this is, say, taking into those analogies, this is closer to putting a base coat on for body painting, so they wouldn't be... Of course, I suppose some artists doing body painting now would get a lot of grief if they put a black base coat on anybody that was remotely Caucasian. And I don't make any I don't do much to dox myself, but I don't make any hide of my ethnic background. Obviously, you can tell I'm white, but the camera doesn't really do justice to it. I'm a introvert, antisocial hermit who has significant photosensitivities and everything. I'm not just white, I am neon white. I am glow in the dark under new moon and overcast sky white. I'm just... I is what I is. Painting, the one form of art I absolutely suck at. That and coloring, I suck at any color that isn't white, black or white. Well, I'll tell you, Kyle, I spent more than 35 years convincing myself that I had basically no artistic ability at all, other than being a relatively decent photographer in the right circumstances. And now I'm doing stuff like this, and people disturb me by raving about the results of stuff I've made. And like, I'm the other side of the spectrum. I'm not that good. Getting these up here where I can... where I can see a couple of the ones I did the farthest ago. We got just a little bit more paint to dry before I can really pull into the next stage, because with 2 coats of black on these are ready for catching some of the color. But you can see on the camera where we've got a little bit of actual paint drying to worry about. And my options are to worry about the paint drying, or try and lay on really thick layers of color over top of it. But if you're not careful, you end up with some blending on that. And I'm not in a part where I'm thinking about doing blending. So we'll give it just a couple minutes. Either this one or this one's going to be the first one to be ready, because I am going to start the first tile with that whole a planet coming in on the corner. I don't know if the colors will be matching these, but it's going to have the planet coming in on the corner and get some other stuff in the starscape over here. Yeah, Kyle, I'm even worse at drawing than I am at painting. And I may have to start practicing that with what I have learned on being artistic in the last year, and just get some paint practice in there. But it's a well, I can almost draw convincing stick figures. But Kyle, I mean, if you can draw really well, you just send me some like some sketches or outlines and see what I can do with adding color to them. Mind you, I'm a big one for non-traditional color matches and mixes and everything. We took that color wheel and we banished it for life. Just taking a look at some of the colors that I have from a special Amazon order for some possible planetary bits. I'm not going for photorealistic here. I'm going for Will's having fun. Oh, and Data Wasteland. Do I like woodworking? Sort of. Woodshop was by far one of my favorite classes in school. Of course, math geek, computer geek too. But if it was something to give me working with my hands and everything, I really, really enjoyed the wood shop. I'd love to try my hands at wood carving, although I struggle with that the same way that I struggle with the whole general art. And if visualizing something is almost impossible for me, visualizing something in 3 dimensions for carving is even crazier on my spectrum, which is funny because I can conceptualize things in the abstract, but drawing a picture of it in my mind just doesn't happen. Check my other resources. Other things that I do for fun and relaxation. Let's say color theory have it. I don't get theoretical with any colors. I do what I do and I do what I don't. Yeah, I've seen those YouTube videos, Data. Those are just unbelievable. And I've got a few ideas for some craft things that involve construction of things with the laser and with my hands and everything. We'll see where that goes, because I've got one idea in mind that I really, really, really want to do. I just have to, because it's either precise cut or very, very imprecise with a hand tool in this regards for this particular project. I want to really build the design for the laser so I can have everything just perfect size and shape and structure for the overall project. It'll make it say, if I manage to be successful in that goal, it will make an appearance somewhere on the channel, as so many things do now, sort of. Let's see. And we are going to do a really brilliant, vibrant color on here next. Pick this up in one of my forays into Amazon. Doing the occasionally spending money that I shouldn't. But this one at least fell into it was on sale. Grandpa used to do woodworking, made us a lot of toys out of scrap wood. Yeah, that was... My grandpa did his fair share of woodworking, but he wasn't like he wasn't on the same level as you'd think of like a toy maker kind of thing, or one that did those. But he kept a lot of wood and materials for making things. He'd been a farmer, he'd been in the army, very good with his hands in that regards, and let me play with just nailing stuff together in the basement and stuff like that, which was always fun. But I have a certain amount of interest for adding to it for an extra kind of thing. Yeah, 1.33 million subscribers. I'm obviously nowhere close to that. So they weren't anything special except to you, of course, and that is part of it too, because you end up with a maybe not as good of a result, but it makes, as far as skilled and what you might get from, more experienced or a master craftsman or something like that. But the fact that you did it, that part of it adds so much to the result. So the work that you did, the work he did, made it worth more. Now, we're going to try and detail a bit of a planetary arc here. Gonna start with a brilliant metallic blue on this one, which, yes, was my Amazon find. And the colors going on the black might need to do multiple coats or really thick or both, and my preference is actually to do multiple thinner coats on the finish and the color edition to give us the base. This is going to end up with seemingly a lot of water on this planet, but of course I'll lay down the color for the blue and then work out from there as far as layering colors on top of colors is how I tend to do this. Are you saying Earth is as flat as a tile? I am saying that the Earth is so round, and so you get the curvature going on there. You get the right distance to it. It's got that nice curve to it. The Earth is so round that it takes gravity distorting light for us not to recognize the curve of it just at surface level. The curvature of the Earth, if you could isolate it from the gravitational effects on the light involved, is so pronounced, it is so extreme that you'd be able to see it with the naked eye if it wasn't for the fact that gravity messes with us. And we're going to go ahead, and this one is going to get the start to a junk satellite, in this case the form of a moon, and try and think about the try and think about piecing together. So we might give it the moon a friend, because some planets have more than one, right? Makes the tides interesting, but hey. Yeah, Data Wasteland, it is something, and I actually I learned more on that in the last couple of years from a libertarian friend who is obviously very skeptical of things related to certain pandemics, if you would. I want more of this to be completely on the picture, so I need to change up my brushes, or I'm going to overdo my detail. I want one of my more rounded brushes. Let's go with this one. And drew my attention to some experiments that they did with the curvature of the Earth and the size against, obviously, against flat earthers and everything. And this one experiment, they concluded that it actually, the evidence supported a flat Earth because of the items over the curvature. They basically took 3 small boats on water, and they took and did a elevation measure, like we're talking about like 6 inches or a foot above the water line, something like that, and they lined up perfectly over a significant distance. They're like, see, there's no curvature. And somebody the Earth actually spins, it's right around 1 to 1.15 thousand miles per hour as you make a complete rotation at the equator every 24 hours. And that's a little over 25,000 miles. Yeah, it bulges at the middle a little bit from the force of that too. Yeah, I'd believe it. What they ended up with those boats and the marked rods and everything, though, somebody repeated the same experiment using longer rods. Their measurement for their measurement for the height was farther away from the surface of the Earth. And what they discovered was the higher they got from the surface of the water, the more you could see that the rod in the middle, all held by fluid levels, the rod in the middle was higher than the rods at the two ends if you line them up as a straight line, showing that there was actually a recognizable curvature. In doing that, they discovered and determined that the curvature of the gravitational force of the Earth was such that the closer you got to the surface of the Earth, the more it was able to bend light around it, leaving you the impression that the curved surface was completely flat. It was a rather fascinating study. Hey, Mr. Scott J87. That took 5 tries and 20 minutes to say hi to Squirrel Blue. At least you managed it. Yes, Jack Gunsky, I have played Chips Challenge. I have played a lot of Chips Challenge. My introduction to computers was significantly before Chips Challenge was even an option on computers. We're going to give a second moon, but it's going to be a moon with a more irregular shape. Wreak havoc on tides and on scientists' minds. That's not a moon, that's a space station. Light hits the second moon differently. Exactly. It's in a different orbit, a different distance, and a different shape. Everything's different with it. And with a different shape, different orbit, different mass, it's going to have its own effect on gravity and tides and everything. And just to throw in the lore here, every time this one is full and this one is new, everybody on the planet is nuts. Why to make Han Solo Southern? It was kind of a split. It didn't start Southern, then it kind of went that way. Everybody needs a little more Southern in them sometimes, even Han Solo. And I can't mimic Harrison Ford so for the life of me, so do I want to do something in this space, or am I concerned about cluttering it? I'll come back to it because I've got to get that's got to dry a bit anyway. Always the concerns of mixing the plate, mixing the colors rather than overlaying it. Playing it on Steam as we speak. Yeah, Steam wasn't say the inventor of Steam wasn't born when I played Chip's Challenge, probably. Okay, so we are going to also, I believe the moon comment was Obi-Wan Kenobi, not Han Solo, and everyone knows Obi-Wan was from southern Coruscant, so he'd obviously have his own southern accent if he let it go. Especially after years living in the outposts on Tatooine. That entire conclusion is, as you should know, 100% made up, other than I'm pretty sure that it was Obi-Wan for the that isn't a moon, or that's not a moon, however it was worded. Deciding colors here. Gonna do at least 4 of these with the more metallic paints as part of the this set of 4 will get more of the friendly metallics and everything. Let's try a little bit different with this one too, because why not? Catthropple, Scribe Light. Or should I go with Goldthropple? From a boomer. Swirl's a true boomer, I believe. Justin, I play some games with kids Justin's age. We're talking about the teenagers. Got a rather toxic young fellow that calls me cripple boomer. In his mind, I am. Chip's Challenge is a sort of puzzle game where you control your character to collect things and move from puzzle to puzzle. And there were various hazards on each map that you had to overcome or get past. But you have only loose directional control of your character. It's like, okay, I want to go left, I want to go right, I want to go up, I want to go down. And then you'd end up with, there were ice maps where you step onto ice in the direction you were going. You'd slide that way until you hit an obstacle. Oops, that obstacle was deadly, stuff like that. And there were, I recall there were hundreds of levels. I know I never completed the game. In part was started up and then lost interest, came back to it and everything later. But I played the heck out of Chip's Challenge and played a lot of Commander Keen. Should do a stream where I play it for nostalgia. I would have to get it. I had to say I had to take, would have to like get it on Steam. Hello, Richo8181. 148 levels in Chip's Challenge and it's free. I want to say that there used to be more. Maybe I did finish it and forgot. It's the third there, so you stopped saying that. Still, Happy New Year to the Down Under folks. 2020 was bad enough that we should do a little extra celebrations on 2021. I am cool with that. So this piece here is obviously going to be fully on the picture, but we're going to give him or her or Zeezer, whatever. This one is going to get a companion. Age old, these are not so the bottles of paints I can just shake up real easily. These are more these are like cups with lids on them and everything, but they don't shake as easily and as nicely. The shape's a little too regular. And so go to really old school, mix it up with a toothpick. As long as I get teeth, I'll have plenty of toothpicks around here. Data Wasteland, love the boomer thing. Love the boomer thing. Unscrewed a light bulb and shook it to hear the element rattle. Only it's an LED bulb. There's the nubs. There's your problem right there. There are multiple add-ons to it. That could be that I had a lot of add-ons to it as well. But yeah, it's been a while. I mean, okay, I remember when Windows introduced Solitaire as a bundled game to it. Let's get farther back. We're going to get like our blue planet that's got to take some work. We're going to have at least partly green planet here, which we'll have to decide if it is significantly bigger, just closer to the observer, or a mix of the two. these pictures here aren't going to have a lot of angle for questions of perspective and everything, except where they might have some irregular shapes to them, like that other moon. You end up with so we're going to end up with the picture being what would make it as far as the elements in there. I should do a stream where I play Chip's Challenge just for nostalgia. Well, maybe has some potential there. You know, I've already hit the point where I can claim between folks that I convinced to try Phasmophobia and a convinced party on Satisfactory, I can already claim to be an influencer. Feel like I get those things. You may already be a winner. You may already be an influencer. It was weird. I have done a lot more talking today. We have not hit any tunes since the start of the show. I do not know what I'm doing with myself. Have kind of a broad mix here. Now is the perfect time to drop a couple of different shills out there. The first one being, of course, other streamers. We've seen Jack Gunsky in one chat or another. He does now Quippers United on Sunday afternoons. Not for easily offended. Not for people that get bugged by friendly interactive wastes of time. But it's got its moments. You got Kyler, who tries to do his 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 Central game streaming when he doesn't have to work on Sundays. I can never remember if Data Wasteland does any streaming or not. This is Kyle, does periodic, and by periodic we mean frequent game streams. Of course, we've seen Scribelight in one chat, we've seen Satsu 2 Cents in another. They are part of the Lords of the Night. They do nightly streams, Monday through Saturday nights, going between Satsu's Scribes and Monkeys channel, 9 p.m. Eastern. Monkeys got the show tonight. And then after that, there will be a game stream on 2 Cents Plus, most likely, doing more 7 Days to Die. Get another toothpick here. Another color, another toothpick, another mix. This one definitely needs mixing. I might actually need to add some thinner to that one. I do have some acrylic thinner around here somewhere. Let's see, who else do we have? Of course, there is not showing his face around here, but Frosted Glass does usually the corner on Thursday nights, unless he schedules it to another night to satisfy the needs of a guest. That's after Lords of the Night. That is not quite toxic political incorrectness. The guys are rational, and I'm surprised YouTube hasn't banned them as a result. And we saw Johnny Hellcat in chat earlier. He periodically streams games and conversation with various people, almost always with Hate Camel. See if there's anybody else's name in chat. Oh yes, of course, Swirl Blue, who is getting started with the channel, actually getting started with multiple channels, is going to be doing product reviews, cute animal videos, relaxing stuff, and she's working on a game stream setup. Yes, we'll be playing tomorrow, 7 Days to Die. Will I survive Horde Night? Tune in tomorrow and find out. I'm planning on tuning in, but there's I'm gonna pull the semi-prophetic card right now. You're gonna die. You're all gonna die. So for this one, we're gonna go less for the notion of a planet. I'm gonna try and throw multiple colors out there and see if I can create something that loosely mimics a nebula or plasma cloud or something like that. Now, a lot of those things end up with false colorations in the pictures and everything, but I'm not actually caring about the authenticity of these colors anyway, so who's gonna complain? Yeah, you got a blunderbuss, but those are like the slowest reloading weapons in the game, so it's a toss-up. The first Horde Night isn't usually as bad, but it's always a matter of questions of the technological advancement and how ready you are. So my temporary horde base while I'm building things up was an accidental discovery. And I can tell you that Satsu and Monkey would never stomach doing it. So the other couple shills to throw out there, of course, my show that we're running right now for the like, share, and subscribe kind of thing. One of my goals for this year is more streaming, pick back up on the scripted content creation more, and make more appearances on other people's shows, which I started right by joining. Here's another shill for us. Mornings, 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Eastern time, I think, 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern, something like that. I don't have the times down. P-Dog Night doing the morning night live. He has just come off of having COVID and is back in. He did his 500th stream on the 1st, and he did that one at the call-in show, and I had a fun few minutes talking with P-Dog there. I'm not going to give up my day job, but I'll be expanding out online. And then if you look at the description, the last little bit of shill and the closest I come to begging. If you look at the description on YouTube, I do have links to give gifts through Streamlabs or Cash App. I got Cash App ID and link to give through Streamlabs if you so desire. That is 100% towards the project of replacing Potato Clock. If you want to give a non-monetary gift, there is a wish list there for stuff related to, there's wish lists for stuff related to the laser and art supplies. And anything that comes through that source would make an appearance in a video or in the streams, guaranteed. But you know, you don't have to give to things like that. I am happy if you just spread the word, give a like, give a share, fight the YouTube algorithm because YouTube sucks at YouTube. Yeah, Horde Night does continue after, usually continues after death. You respawn, and they're still after you, so you typically have the potential for biting the dust multiple times on a Horde Night. It can become not a question of, am I going to survive Horde Night, as much as I'm going to gamble with this. Who wants to lay down odds on how many times I will die? Oh, and I will throw one more shill in it, but it's not for me. Another link in the description on YouTube to a very talented gentleman, Tim Hollins. I usually have a lot of music going on this stream, and most of it is used with permission. I've got a link to his YouTube channel and a link to his website where you can buy CDs, stuff that is on his YouTube channel, and I'm all for that. Although YouTube sucks at YouTube, Twitch sucks worse. Yes. I do have a presence. I do have an ID over on Twitch. The sole purpose of that so far is branding. I have an ID on Twitch so that another person cannot take the willitforge brand. And I haven't missed your comment. Jack says, "Look on me, ye mighty in despair. I am Jack Gunskius." One other thing about that Streamlabs, I don't have notifications up. I don't always have it in me. There is no promise that gifts there will automatically be read on the channel. If I notice them, I'll definitely give a shout out and everything. But this is not exactly the way that Streamlabs is usually used in a streaming Streamlabs in a chat stream issue. This is just a way to specifically give me a gift towards the sole purpose of replacing Potato Clock. And I can, thanks to GeForce Now, I can stream better games in high quality, but Potato Clock is still Potato Clock and has its issues with the world at large and graphics in particular. I'll tell you, a couple of these, I might have to do some of my own product reviews on some of these things, because a couple of these colors have done really well, and a couple of these colors have been more chunky. So you get the if I didn't know better, I'd say that they were doing a partial dry. I think it's just like the pigmentation, everything has a different texture and thickness. But it means that for adding some of these, like in here, I've had to go a lot thicker just laying down the color in the first place. And Swirl Blue doesn't have enough videos on YouTube yet. The beautiful thing with the Streamlabs is getting an account on Streamlabs does not require any significant video count. Well, Justin, this one here is a little less defined yet. And this might not go anywhere that I'm thinking of. You run into the whole me and being able to picture and visualize things. It doesn't happen. And I don't have like a reference picture or image that I'm working off of for any of these. I'm just coming up with a concept off the top of my head, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'll tell you, this one, the colors going on it are not going to be all the metallics, because I'm going to need some more color variance and maybe a little bit of blending. We'll see what we get. Hey, catch you later, Richo. Have a good one. One of our buddies from the land down under. And I gotta tell you, Jack, this is one of the areas where you're off, because this is a stream where not always say you get the whole Terry is everywhere, but Terry isn't here right now. I'll grant that he's close to everywhere. Terry is here, but he's invisible. Sure. Maybe somebody dropped the magic phrase and he's mimicking an emu again. Get it? Say, gotta cover all the bases, I guess. Said Terry is omnipresent. It seems that way sometimes, doesn't it? On a scale of McCavity to Terry, how there are you? Is that the question? I can occasionally think on my feet. Or in this case, since the willitforge Studios involves sitting in a recliner, although when I'm doing art stuff, I'm not reclined, sadly. Sometimes quick on my butt. Maybe that didn't sound quite right either. Somehow managed to fake the impression that this here is actually behind that without layering them. Yeah, I'm sure I don't want to know what your first thought was on this one, Swirl, or your second, or your third, or... I say that swirl is an absolute sweetheart. You spent your afternoon woodworking to make a stand for your TI-84 graphing calculator? I love it. That is great. That gives a little bit of credit, that's for sure. Let's see. This might end up being like the most abstract thing I've ever painted before. Maybe before the next art stream, I might take and do some looking into things and making some reference images to kind of make it something a little more distinctly recognizable. Should call this one Shapes. It is that. It's not regular shapes. It's definitely not your regular geometrical mathematical ones. This one would be, well, you don't want to try and work out the mathematical formula for this, that's for sure. I certainly wouldn't, and math is one of my things. Don't get me started on the actual mathematical formula for woodchucks and chucking wood. Now, one thing to remember, anybody who's been here for a few of my art streams or seen me work on any other projects, any and every, say, any part of this may be subject to being painted over without warning or reason given. You get the sometimes a brush and paints just can't give you the same kind of image as CGI, etc. Stick you up out of the way for now. We get some of our tiles paint drying off to the side. And 642. We're doing all right. Again, continue with the color we've just been working with, so I don't have to trade up my brush yet. this one, we're going to have to come back to something a little more recognizable in the process. And I just, oops, caught a hair in the black paint. But as you can see, aside from being difficult to pull a hair out of the black paint, there is not anything significantly binding the black paint to the tile. We'll have to repaint that little bit and grab a different tile. Part of the problem's been so long that the black is getting close to dry. And by close to, we mean that most of it is. But we get enough tiles compared to the time where we're not really going to have to finish that one out today anyway. I'll just grab another, since I started 8 tiles with the black paint. We'll just grab another one off the rack and make sure it doesn't have hairs to mess up, or that I can convince myself to leave the hair alone. That's a good start, Kyler, but you've also got to consider, of course, questions of averages and expenditure of energy. Do they get slower the longer they have worked and everything? What are the time allotments? You know, there's a lot of dynamics just beyond your just beyond the time variable and the wood and the number of billets of chucked wood. But that's an excellent start on it for sure. I do not know if I can pull off what I'm thinking of for this one. Story of my life. We're going to give it a try, though. The general control to try and freehand semi-regular geometric shapes is not something I have practiced a lot of. Almost I can talk, I swear. Almost convincing stick figures, folks. That's the only thing I guarantee is almost convincing stick figures. For the sake of entertainment, I'll have to draw a few of those on stream sometime. Yeah, I don't give a lot of pressure to people who struggle with math and that, or the people who can't do the mental math, and I don't always try and pull the mental math myself either. I had this kind of like I have a quirky brain, as I've explained to some people. One of those quirks accidentally gave me a math degree. I wasn't even a math major. I wasn't even a math minor. But I got a math degree out of it anyway. Makes it very interesting to watch some things that people do on YouTube or Twitter. You start looking at what they're talking about and like, you know, I should be using a different brush for this. Start thinking that, you know, there is so much wrong mathematically with what you're saying. I don't even know where to begin. Any accountant and statistician and even economist can tell you that numbers dance. They do magic on a graph or a spreadsheet. And if you are incompetent or have an agenda, the numbers are less than worthless. Go ahead and give this some texture. Some of that as the paint is drying will smooth out. Some of that will give me a basis for things that I'm going to do with it after. I'm going to try to be careful not to splatter my paint all over the place. Yes, Swirl, I do use cat hair as texture in some of my projects because you just can't get rid of it. Not and keep the cats. And if the choice is giving up the cats or giving up pretensions of art go out the window. But I can just not be so, not be so bad with the pretensions of art and just stick with the a certain amount of cat hair is not just acceptable, it's love. As with most colors on tiles of this sort, if you aren't laying them down super thick, or in some cases aren't laying down with a spray can, you deal with multiple coats to get what you want, especially working over black. But the only thing I could have done to get around the working over black is work out my negative spaces and had it where I just had like a black lip right here and all of this white to paint over. And that gets into the visualization, mental picturing skills again. That's exactly right, Jack Gunsky. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having heard your equation. I award you no math, and may God have mercy on your soul. I've dealt with those people. Done the... Sassu says it best sometimes, is that it doesn't math. That just don't math. And that is a statement. It is so basic and to the point in dealing with the truth. You don't even have to know why it doesn't math. If you can recognize that it doesn't math and say, something is not right here. The glorious moon of tides don't care about your feelings. Figures don't lie, but liars figure. Yeah, truth to that too. Oh, I just had an idea. I don't know if it'll work, so I'll come back to it later. But I just had an idea for that one. Used to have 3 pugs talk about dog hair everywhere. Yeah, these two do an amazingly good job at not being a source for endless shedding mess. But there's occasionally hair where you don't want it. Is that the official name of the moon? I don't care about your tides. Well, the jury's out on this one. That's one of the bids for that one. The say gravity doesn't care about your tides, or the facts don't care about your tides, or something. The canon of that moon, you've got 2 things: is when it's in the right phase, as opposed to the other moon being in the right phase, everybody goes nuts because people want to tell you that groups of people acting differently or doing crazy stuff, or all the chaos around the full moon, etc., is like so much urban legend or whatever. People that have to deal with strangers every day, 5 days a week as part of their job, can tell you, or anybody that works in the emergency room and the like, can tell you that people go crazy on a full moon. Next step in Satisfactory is a lot of ripping out my power grid and redoing it. Yeah, you get some of that as you're upgrading and everything. Now, I've not hit a point where coal power structure with a good grid goes out of usefulness yet. The next power plant that I get is one that's actually less efficient than coal. It just, I have a lot of resource available as potential fuel that might just be another. I've got an automatic source for fuel for this anyway. Why not just kick up some extra power generation? Giving up on the thin and going with kicking a little thicker paint on these. And of course, there's still a lot of detail to be added to these pictures too, because the planets are not, say, planets and whatever else are not going to be a single color. You have the question of a starscape in the background. So we're going to have to kind of do a little bit of wait and see for some of the outcomes, what our results will be. Yeah, switching out to coal is definitely a culprit in that, and restructuring your grid when you do that is kind of important anyway, because coal has to be capable of doing a self-sustaining once you get it started, no matter what the circumstances, which is why I say get a biofuel burner and 1 coal generator and all of your coal mines and at least one of your water pumps feeding that coal power plant, all on 1 isolated circuit, and then use additionally the coal and water generated from that circuit to feed multiple other coal plants. And then they can, if you need to do more water beyond that, if you need to do more coal, you can do you can keep all the coal on that single original grid, or as long as the one grid feeds enough to feed the main plant and one other, you can have all your other coal off of your other plants and just say, yeah, I'm going to deal with it. I've got a huge storage silo of sorts with enough coal to generate for actual like days of gameplay. Now, I didn't expect to call it short so quickly. I've only been live for about 2 hours, but we do have to pay occasional tribute to our physical limitations, and I am not going to be able to hold posture for the painting any longer. So we will pick this back up the next art stream, and I do thank all of you for stopping by. You definitely say I'd stream anyway, but you definitely all make it way better than it would be on its own. Again, I appreciate any shares and likes out there. I see 7 likes on one. It makes a difference for doing this for sure. And I will catch you all. My plan is the regular streaming, so we're back to a game stream next week. I haven't decided if that's going to be Satisfactory or 7 days, but we'll, one way or another, we'll get it. Thanks for stopping by, and have a wonderful weekend. I hope that 2021 has so far been and continues to be a superior year for you.